Gaming Golf is back after a 1 week hiatus. We took the we took the team tournament off last week, so we are back now previewing the Mexico Open. Happy to be back. Hey everybody, welcome to Gaming Golf. This week previewing the Mexico Open at Vidanta. And guys, it's good to be back after taking the team tournament off last week. We missed out on the Cantlay-Schauffele romp. Those guys pretty much rolled.
But we didn't do the show last week, but obviously all three of us picked Cantlay-Schauffele, right? I mean, that was such an easy, obvious pick. We
were deprived of using them in one and done because we took that off too. So yeah, absolutely.
I actually had a decent DraftKings week. I cashed across the board with a withdrawal too. I had Neiman and Pereira and they withdrew. So it could have been a really nice week, despite no Cantlay and Schauffele on my team. But the WDs have been brutal this season. I've hit like three of them where I didn't, it either happens after round one or that morning. So hoping I've got the WD luck out of my system the rest of the way here.
Yeah, that would be nice. Seems like that's golf. It's harder to come by information like that. Teams have like have a requirement to disclose. Individual golfers less so. Obviously, they have their team of advisors and coaches and all that, but and agents, obviously. You have to almost follow golfers' agents to get good information now, it seems like.
Yeah. Independent contractors, they disclose what they want to disclose, and it's one of the I don't know if you call it a gap in the betting market, but it's one of the it's a unique wrinkle that makes the game a little trickier for bettors, right? We don't know, guys are missing time. Is there hurt? Is there just a scheduling thing? They just want to break. They don't have to disclose. And so that makes, that creates opportunities and pain among golf bettors. But it pays to watch, it pays to follow this stuff.
Especially living on the West Coast, because we had a couple of WDs that came out 20 minutes before the tournament, but happened to be 5:30 in the morning West Coast time where I'm not quite checking my phone yet. So it's been
earlier.
Yeah, you're right. There was a couple that were like 4, and it was like, oh, well, not much I could do about that.
So, Jeff, in your days as a reporter on the ground, when you're at a tournament, do you get information like that easier, more readily?
Sometimes. The sneaky best source are caddies. They kind of know what's going on with people, or if their players there, it's not uncommon for them to kind of like, we're working through some stuff, or they kind of whisper if their man is feeling good this week, or if things are a bit off. It's very common actually to get that type of information early in the week. Injuries are different because usually caddy being an inner circle player, if the player doesn't want that out, they're not going to say, we're just got an injection on his wrist and we'll see for you're not going to get that. But you typically can get like a, hey, things are clicking here. You kind of get the wink and nod of like, yeah, we're onto something here. Or sometimes a little bit of a, I don't know.
How often is that information accurate? I wonder, is there some false flag? Not necessarily even false flag, but just like, hey, we're feeling optimistic, and then they miss the cut anyhow.
Yeah, it's probably almost as random as the odds themselves. I mean, to be honest, I was out there working driving ranges before I was playing DraftKings, so I don't know. I've never really thought to line those two things up. Right. Certainly, we have, from our side, Bob Herrig is on the beat, and he's out there a fair amount and works the driving range where he goes, and also does a video that's going to integrate with this show as we publish it. And so he gets a little bit more of those odds and ends, but you take all of it with a grain of salt, just like you would, any other fantasy write-up or a show like this. You try to just take information and use it for what you will.
Sure. Absolutely. Let's start looking at this week, and boy, oh boy, is this the worst field of the year, or, so far of the calendar year? Some of the fall tournaments don't count as far as I'm concerned, but this is a pretty shaky field.
Worst one so far for me, if in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
It's Rom and the Romettes.
There's still bets to make. There's still DraftKings to play. We'll get. There's still a lot to talk about, and they all count. So I'm looking forward to it. It's these are sometimes the tournaments where if you dig in a little bit, you might have a little bit of an edge over everybody at the Masters that can play 6 guys that we all know about and all that. So that's I think these tournaments are tough from a viewing, but they separate the people in playing fantasy and DraftKings. You got to really dig into some guys we don't know a lot about.
Yeah, I was wondering if that would be the case there a little bit. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've had a tournament here at Vidanta. So
first, it opened in 2015. New venue for the tour.
New venue for the tour. New venue for the players. Probably. I wonder if Abe Answer or Sebastian Munoz has some sort of built-in advantage because of this. If they've even played the course. I mean, I'm assuming a lot with that question, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. Answer, I mean, he's just to start previewing the players. I don't know. You always think, home game inspired by, the national crowd, but I don't know what's going on with Abe Answer. I mean, he's withdrew from the Heritage, showed up, missed the cut at the Masters. He was one of the darlings of our podcast as we were getting it going last year because it just seemed like he was underpriced every week and outperforming his price tag. And now this year it's almost flipped where he's become maybe overhyped, and he's highly priced in that 10,000 tier this week, and I don't like him at all because I just don't know what his injury status is or what's going on.
Right. Finished top 8 in the match play, made it to the quarterfinals there. So that was one good result, but other than that, it's 30s or missed cuts. 30s, 40s, missed cuts, and nothing special there. And at 10-3, you need him to be something special.
Yeah, I don't know. Scott, are you paying up? I'm not paying up for that. I wouldn't.
No, you want to talk about the top of the end of the range right now?
Yeah, let's just use that as our launch point.
So my thought here is as I got in deeper in the field, the 9s really aren't that much better than the 8s, and the 8s aren't that really much better than the 9s after this than the 7s. As soon as you get under 10, maybe 9,800. They're all kind of the same. So I am playing Jon Rahm this week, and I'm going to just figure that the 7s I'm going to play instead of 8 to 9s are not that much further off than normal. I really like a lineup with Rahm and either one guy in the 9s, one guy in the 8s, and then 4 guys in the mid to low 7s. I put together Rahm and Aaron Wise. I put together Rahm and a couple guys in the 8s to see what I could get otherwise. And it's 73 to 7,100 a person. I just think Rahm is so far and away the best player in this field. That's saying that's obvious, but we never see tournaments quite like this. You usually get 1 or 2 or 3 guys, or maybe a bunch of second tier guys. Rahm is so much better than everybody else. I know he's struggling lately for him, a lot of putting and around the green stuff, but this course sets up well for him. It sounds like you want to be long on this course. There's not a lot of punitive damage, off the fairway. If you do miss the fairway, the fairways are big. I just think the way the rest of the field works, and there's not really a lot of 8s that I want to get in anyway. I'm going to play Rahm, then jump down lower. I'm going to play him in almost all my lineups. I'm going to take the best player in the field by leaps and bounds. Hope he's motivated. You never know with that with an elite player going to a tournament like this, but I'm just playing him, and I think it sets up well the way the rest of the field kind of plays out.
Yeah, Rahm's at 11-3. Tony Finau's the next at 10-4. Abe Answer, as referred to, is 10-3. Kevin Na, 10-1. And Patrick Reed, he who's been a punching bag for our show this season, is at 10,000. That's your sign right there. That Rahm is only 1,300 more than Reed speaks to just the gap between, just the relative strength of the field.
I would have put Rahm at 12-2 if I was pricing this.
Jeff, what say you?
No, I agree. And Scott tore the page right out of my playbook this week. I think I completely agree. I think Rahm he's so far ahead of the field and there's so many other ways to build your lineup that just start with Rahm and you're going to get 5 guys, figure out the mix from there. You're going to get 5 guys that no one else has and try to win your money with those other 5, but don't get cute at the top when you've got somebody who's actually fairly priced despite being leaps and bounds ahead of those in the same tier around him. So I like Rahm, and then we get creative. You start to make the salad.
All right.
I'm fully on board with that. If I had to play someone else, I'd play Finau. There's no way I'd play no way I'm playing Reed at the price. And I think Finau's a step up from Answer and Na right now. He's playing a little bit better. 3-2 top 35s the last 4 weeks. This is a good course for him too. Should really play to his length. It's a good setup for him, but I think 900 more to Rahm just makes a lot of sense, and I can't play both.
Tell me more about Vidanta at Vallarta. What do we know about the course besides its newness?
From what I read, it's the comp courses I've seen are like Puerto Rico in terms of the substance of the greens. It sounds like the rough is not going to hurt people very much. The fairways are wide open, so long. It's a long course, 74, 56 yards. It's a par 73 for members, a 71 for the PGA guys. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring. I think it's going to be kind of a putting contest. I think a lot of guys are going to hit a lot of greens in regulation. It's going to matter who hits those 15 to 20 footers. So I think you want some guys who actually putt. Usually I kind of toss putting out. I think you want good putters this week. I think you want guys who are long because I don't think a little bit wide drives are going to hurt very much.
Right.
I would add maybe approaches. Unfamiliar greens, guys who could just hit it close.
Yeah.
Take that unfamiliarity out. So
I think it'll be a low. I think it'll be a low scoring week unless apparently the wind can get a little nutty in the afternoons there. But unless wind comes up, I think it's gonna be a pretty low scoring week.
All right, very good. Let's look at the 9,000s. We're underwhelmed with Gary Woodland at 99, Sebastian Munoz 98, Cameron Chengali 97, Chris Kirk 96, Aaron Wise 95, Cameron Champ 94, Brendan Todd 93, Russell Knox 92, Kevin Streelman 91. And Matt Jones, 9,000. Jeff Ritter, who stands out in this group for you, if anyone?
I like Woodland as just someone who's he's been a little up and down, missed the cut at the Masters, which I think we were all on him at Augusta because he had appeared to take a lot of momentum out of Florida with him and then just lost it at Augusta. But I still think in terms of guys playing reasonably well within this tier, I think he's interesting even at that price. I also think Cam Champ, it just seems like it's either on or it's off for him. But sneaky top 10, I think he finished 10th at Augusta, way under the radar. But when it clicks for him, he's a guy that can win in bunches. And so I just, at that price and this kind of depleted field, I'm intrigued. And then Scott mentioned Aaron Wise. Same thing. I think is another guy that maybe the statistical profile lines up for this week. So I like it. Hard if you've got Rahm to go all three of them, but some combo of Woodland, Champ, and Wise are the three that jump out at me.
Yeah, if I'm going to pair someone with Rahm, I think it's going to be Aaron Wise for me. 9,500, made 3 or 4 cuts. He's gained 4 straight tee to green. If you take this field over the last 24 rounds, he's 6th in the field off the tee. I like that this week in this event. He's 9th in the field in ball striking in the last 24 rounds. So I think a guy that's playing really well right now. I think he fits this course pretty well. I think you can pair him with Rahm. I think you have 7,300 per player left. You would do that. So it's expensive, but I think it's workable. If you want to get different and not go Rahm and you want to go Finau or Woodland, I think he pairs really well. There's kind of a start, maybe a little more balanced, but I do like the Rahm approach. I like Woodland also. 3 top 10 since late February. Jeff mentioned the miscut of the Masters, but majors are tough, and he was playing really well before that. He was 8th at Valero just the week before the Masters, so I do like that. Sebastian Munoz is kind of interesting, playing well, but 9,800 is tough, and he hasn't played. He hasn't played an event aside from the match play since March 13th when he played the Players. I looked, and he didn't play in the team event last week, so I just worry that maybe that really good form we had for a while there, it takes a round to knock off the rust, and I'd be worried about that at a course where you're going to have to go low, kind of starting from the beginning. So I'm going to go Wise and Woodland in this range.
I'm going to throw one more out here, and Scott, I'm frankly a little surprised you didn't go this way. Is you are usually the man who knocks. Yeah. And Russell Knox at 9,200 might be an interesting pairing with Rahm. Save some money off of Wise. I think ball striking matters again here. I know we say it every week, but I think this is probably a good place for him. He's not going to pound. He's not going to pound the ball. He's not Cameron Champ hitting at 320 every time, but he gets decent distance off the tee, and he's accurate. So I like him a little bit.
Yeah, I really liked his form through about mid-March, and the last 3 tournaments have not been great, so I'm a little bit off him at the price. If it was a little bit cheaper, I'd probably be there, but struggled with putting, and the ball striking hasn't been quite as good the last 3 tournaments. But yeah, he's someone that I think is playable. I like the other guys a little bit more just based on recent form.
Yeah, and you know what the thing is, you're getting a decent price, gaming wise, like at the SI Sportsbook, he's 50 to 1. So
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's something that maybe keep an eye on there as you're pricing things out. I do like always kind of seeing, okay, what are the sports books like versus what are the, if there's a bargain compared to the DraftKings price there, and it seems like there's a little disconnect there. Let's look at the $8,000 tier. Starting off, Doug Gim is at 89. Sahith Theegala, one of Jeff Ritter's season-long guys, is there at 88. Aaron Rye is at 87. Carlos Ortiz, 86. Davis Riley, 85. Charles Howell, 84. Lanto Griffin, 83. Taylor Moore, 82. CT Pan, 81. And Mark Hubbard at 8,000. That clears out the $8,000 tier. Scott, what jumps out to you from there?
How much I don't like this range.
Okay.
The way I'm building, I think I'm going to go 2 guys above this range and 4 guys below. The one guy that I will be playing in some lineups here actually is CT Pan, who's made 3 straight cuts. Really good T degree numbers, both at Heritage and Valero. Gained 4.1 approach at Heritage also. So really good ball striking numbers last couple of weeks. He had 2 top 20s in February. He's a guy who can make a little bit run up at the leaderboard. His only missed cut since Phoenix, so we're talking, Super Bowl weekend, was the Players. And like we talked about a few times, I kind of throw the Players out with the way it was so messed up. I looked at Aaron Rye, 8,700, finished 4th in the team event last week. I looked at Mark Hubbard a little bit, but I didn't get too excited about anybody in this range. CT Pan would be on one play at 8,100.
Jeff, you got anybody in this group?
I thought you'd go for Rye. He's on your season-long team, isn't he?
He is. He actually got me some money last week. Yeah.
I think I don't know that I love the price, but he was my favorite off this tier. Was he 4th, right, at the Zurich? So he's I feel like I caught more of him on television than usual, and I'm intrigued, but maybe not a must roster at that price.
Yeah, and he had a really good fall season, had a nice finish at Farmers. He finished in the top 10 of that event. So he's a guy that can get up the leaderboard. I didn't like the off the tee numbers recently. And I just 8,700 was more the issue. If he was 7,700, I'd be all over him. I just think the price is a little bit high this week.
Fair enough. Before we move on to the $7,000 tier, which we will be featuring some guys, a quick note from our Blue Wire sponsors. All right, welcome back to the Gaming Golf Podcast. Jeff Erickson here with Scott Jenstad and Jeff Ritter from Sports Illustrated. Jeff, who do you like in the $7,000 tier? Do you want to break it down into the top half of 7,000s and bottom half? How did you want to approach it this time?
I've got 2 guys they just happen to be off the top half, but I think he's becoming a friend of the podcast as a sleeper is Austin Smotherman. I just really like the statistical profile of the ball striking. He's still sneakily making some cuts, and I just think in a depleted field, he's still priced down there with kind of your roster fillers. Just someone I've just been watching for a while. I think we just kind of noticed the last name is just another one of those terrible names for golfers but he does have the stat profile that intrigues me for this week. And then also Wyndham Clark is a guy that also has popped up for ball striking favorably for those stats. I think he's burned us a couple times in the times that we've mentioned him on the show, but
this guy right here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So for those not already with Wyndham Clark's scar tissue, I think that's a pretty good price. And I believe he played pretty well last week, or was it 2 weeks ago? I just saw him on, these weeks are running together, but
he has two top 35s his last 3 tournaments.
All right, there you. So yeah, I mean, you're down here in the want to make a cut zone, but maybe a little something more on a depleted field. So Clark and Smotherman for me off this tier.
Austin Smotherman, 2018 Mexican Open champion.
Hey, didn't even know that.
On the PGA Tour Latino America Tour, that was his one win on that tour. He won. He was minus 18, but different course, unfortunately.
Yeah, people looking for him on the waiver wire in our league couldn't find a Smotherman because he was already rostered.
No.
Yeah, sorry. It extends over to golf sometimes every once in a while. I can't help it. I like him too. Bottom half of the $7,000 tier.
You don't want my top half?
I'm sorry. Yeah, go for it.
Wow. I see how it is.
Scott, I must.
Wyndham Clark was actually one of mine. I won't go quick on that, but I just think it's a good course set for him. He hits the ball a mile. I think it's a really good setup. He's made 3 straight cuts, hit the ball well at Heritage. The guy I really like here is 700. I like Chad Ramey. We were talking before the podcast, and I checked to see if he was rostered in our league, and he actually got picked up in March. If we're going to go with any kind of comp courses, I think it's tropical locations with this putting surface. He won Punta Cana in March. He was 5th in Puerto Rico in March, 17th in Bermuda last October. Plays well in this environment. Wasn't good at Heritage, but made the cut. So at least he made a cut there. Hit it really well at Valero. The price is 7,900. I was hoping it was a little bit lower, but I think he's very playable this week. He's going to be on a number of my lineups. I think Adam Long is playable at 7,800. He's made 5 at 6 cut. He was 12 at Heritage the last time he played. And then I like Nate Lashley. We talked about him at Heritage. It was rough at Heritage for him. He missed the cut, but it was really good before that. He had 4 straight made cuts, all within the top 30. If we want to talk comp courses again, he was 15th at Punta Cana. He was 7th at Puerto Rico. I really like how he profiles for this course. So Ramey, Lashley, and Wyndham Clark all in this range. I'm going to play a lot of guys in the 7s we mentioned earlier. Lashley and Ramey probably my 2 favorite here.
All right. And now that you got the top half, you get the privilege of doing the bottom half of the 7,000s first. What do you like?
Yeah, the bottom half gets a little tougher. I do like Tyler Duncan at 7,200 again. This is this field. We're going to have some names where you cringe a little bit when you roster them, but he finished 12th at RBC, gained 6.1 shots tee to green. So playing well. He's made 4 or 5 cuts. Again, comp course. He was top 35 at Punta Cana and Puerto Rico. I get those are alt fields, but those alt fields aren't that much different than this field this week. Aside from these top, the Finau and Rahm, a lot of these guys are guys that played in those events. So I think they're still workable. 7,200, I like that. I like Brandon Wu, a good Stanford Cardinal at 7,300. 3 straight make cuts. He was really rough early in the year. I think Jeff might have had him on his season-long team for a while. Another guy, though, he was 3rd at Puerto Rico. If there's a comp course, that's the one. He was 28th at Punta Cana. He's not a huge hitter. I wish he hit a little bit further, but I think Wu and Duncan both work really well this week. You're trying to make cuts. You're trying to maybe get a top 30, top 25. I think both those guys are in play this week at the price.
Yeah, Wu was my guy off the bottom tier. I had him on the team earlier. Dropped him as he just appeared to forget how to play golf at the start of the year, but he seems to be riding the ship. I didn't think about the Puerto Rico, comp course idea until the show, but that's really good. And the fact that he played so well there also, that's a signal. So yeah, I would be back on. I don't have him on the season-long league anymore. I believe he's a free agent. But I would look for him in some of your daily fantasy lineups, especially at this price.
All right. Anybody else you like in that tier?
No, he was pretty much my favorite. I did go searching for Graham McDowell. I feel like he pops up here and there. He's won at Mayakoba, made me think, but yeah, I don't know. I'd probably still pass, but I was intrigued. It's just a name that jumped off at me. And like, what is Graham McDowell doing these days? When I saw him down there at 7,100, not much, but
if you need one more name, I do think that Chase Seifert at 7,100 is playable. 3 straight made cuts, 22nd at Punta Cana, 25th at Honda. So it's got up the leaderboard a little bit. I do like Wu and Duncan a little bit more, but if you want to play 3 guys in here, Seifert would be my 3rd guy.
Is there anybody in the 6,000s that either of you like?
I thought you were going to say either of us heard of.
Luke Donald is in this field. I don't think I'm playing him, but I was intrigued enough to, same thing as Graham McDowell of what, it's like a where are they now moment to just look him up. So no, I'd still pass, but it's just funny sometimes these formerly just huge names get, they pop up in these off-field events. I was stunned to see Luke Donald in this tournament.
Yeah. Robert Garrigus, I wanted to mention because he's the first guy to commit to the Greg Norman Tour. The London event, he's in this field. He's at 6,600. Huge if true.
So Greg Norman design course this week. So still, carrying the flag.
So you're throwing darts down here, and you kind of have to know that you're doing that. But I think if you want to play a couple top guys, you're going to have to get lucky here. And I don't think these guys are that much different than the 7,000s. Again, if you want to go comp courses again, Vaughn Taylor has made 5 of 6 cuts. He finished 7th at Puerto Rico, 25th at Punta Cana. So has played well in these kind of tropical courses with this same material on the greens. So, a good indicator there. Same thing, Andrew Novak, 6,700. I admit that I had to look up who he was, but 11th at Punta Cana, 22nd at Puerto Rico. Did miss 4 straight PGA Tour cuts, so I got a little less excited on main events. And then if you want to really punt, 6,500, Patrick Flavin. It was a Monday qualifier. He's been a Monday qualifier in 3 different events in the last 6 months. Finished, made the cut in all 3 of those. 22nd at Puerto Rico, 17th at Bermuda. If you just want to save some money, you don't like anybody in the 7,000s, I think he's playable for a made cut, but I'd probably move up to Vaughn Taylor if I had to do it at 6,900.
All right, there you go. So sounds like it's 2 high-priced guys and then go cheapy. Seems like you guys are in alignment in terms of your roster build, at least the type of roster you want to build.
I think who can ever find those 3 or 4 guys in the 7,000s who make the top 20 end up winning this week? Because I think everybody's going to have a couple in the say over 9,500 or so.
Sounds like John Rahm could be rostered super heavily despite being over 11,000.
I do not think he'll be low percent this week.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. All right, let's move to the gaming side, and we're going to check out the odds on SI Sportsbook, powered by 888. Taking a look at the gaming card here. Jeff, I'm going to make you go first. Who do you like? Who's on your betting card?
Well, I wanted Woodland here, but I see 20-1. He feels a little bit mispriced on the daily fantasy games. Here, the SI Sportsbook crowd is onto it. The bettors are on Woodland. So I probably pass at 20-1, but just go a little farther down the board. I still, Aaron Rye, Scott, I'm surprised you weren't so big on him on the daily fantasy side. 45-1 is interesting to me. He's a rookie, but you feel like maybe it's one of those rookies where his time is coming. And then I guess another name that sort of, I just look at again, Cameron Champ, 40-1. That I still think his track record is an all or nothing guy, but he is that all with Cameron Champ has proven that can be a win. So I'm in on Champ at 40-1 for sure.
Yeah, if you want to know how crazy this week is with Rahm, he's plus 450 to win this week. Like, I think he's got a great chance, but there's no way I'm betting someone at 4-1 to win a golf tournament. Right. I looked at the SI Sportsbook. He's minus 160 to finish in the top 10. Like, that's an absurd price for a guy to finish in the top 10 in a golf tournament. So I love Rahm this week in daily in DFS, but I'm not betting him. I'm going to drop down and kind of take some darts here. I think either Rahm wins or someone out of nowhere wins. So I'm going to go my highest price guy would probably be Aaron Wise at 30-1. I think he's got a chance to win this week. And then I'm going to fire some darts later. I'm going to go Adam Long at 60-1. I really like Chad Ramey at 66-1. I think he's got a chance to win this week. And then a couple of really late darts, Nate Lashley at 90-1, Brandon Wu at 100-1. If you wanted to go top of the board, I don't think I'm going to, but I think Finau is the most interesting one up there at 20-1. I think that's a pretty good number for him in a tournament where there's really no top end guys. So if you wanted a bigger favorite, or I guess a lesser favorite, I think Finau is the one that is very bettable up there. But I think I'm going to start with Wise and take some darts to the back that I mentioned. And I looked at the SI Sportsbook and I see some top 10 prices. So I like a couple prices here. I like Chad Ramey at plus 550 to be a top 10. I think it's a pretty good shot at him to make him up the leaderboard. And I like Adam Long at plus 500 to be in the top 10 also.
All right. Very good. I like it. And I like the alternate bets there too.
I do too. I like that.
Yeah. It's a little fun to play around with that. You guys can check that out, sisportsbook.com for yourself. And be sure to shop around. You can find differing odds. You may find better odds on SI than elsewhere and vice versa. So check that all out. Finally, one and done, guys. Who do we like? Jeff, do you want to go first or second? I made you go first on the book, so I'm going to give you a choice.
I'll go first. I've got it pulled up as I do now on the show. I enter it live on the air, so I don't forget to do it afterwards. I was down to two. For me, it's either Cam Champ or Gary Woodland. I'm going to go. I think the odds would say you go Woodland. I'm going to go Champ. Just feels like it might be coming together for him. And like I said, he's an all or nothing guy. Maybe it's an all week. So I'm in.
I'm kind of middle of the pack. I need a win. I'm actually going to burn one of the quote unquote top guys this week. I don't think there's a week that I will be that I think Tony Finau has a higher win equity than this one. I'm going to play him. I've used Rahm and Answer. I probably wouldn't use them this weekend, but I'm going to go Finau. I can't imagine a field the rest of the year where I'll be really fired up to use him. So unless he gets really hot. So I'm going to use him now. Try and get a win. It's still a bunch of money if you win this tournament. Wise would be my second choice, but I'm going to go Finau and lock that one in right now.
I've already used Rahm, so I can't use him. Had I not used him, I would consider doing so because I think a lot of people are going to save him for majors, big money events, things of that nature. And he's just such a head and shoulders, better than the field sort of guy that I think I'd probably go ahead and plunk down and use him, but I can't. So I'm safe in saying that, it's kind of funny.
You're not going to get a plus 450 the rest of the year on someone.
No, I don't think so. Unless he decides to play like the John Deere Classic too.
Right. Exactly.
Why is he playing this tournament? I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know. Yeah, Berger was playing and withdrew with the back injury, so that really hurt the field too. But I was surprised when I saw Rahm's name in here.
I'm going to go with the cheapie here, guys. I'm going to go Austin Smotherman. Because why not? And my team, my entries have been really poor in this league, so let's have some fun.
You don't think you want to say Smotherman from the U.S. Open or something like that?
I do not. I just have to be able to find him, and avoid making the joke at the same time. So there, found him. He's in. He's locked and loaded. So yeah, there you go. There you have it. Any other comments, reflections from the team tournament? Anything else you want to talk about?
Not really. I think we're in this kind of like weird void between the ramp up to the next majors. There's a lot of excitement building, certainly with like the Tiger Woods is, at least registered to play. Phil Mickelson's registered to play. This is like that little calm before the next wave of really good fields and a lot of, hype and excitement around it. So
can I ask Ritter a really quick Mickelson question?
Sure. I don't know if I know the answer, but I'm
what are the odds that the tour lets him play in that one event he requested a release for?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's not just.
I don't even know how the process. I don't even know how that process works. I just saw he has to apply for a release to get them to okay it. I don't understand. I figured how the process works better than I do.
So you have to apply for a release to play in an alternate tour event.
Okay.
30 days before that event. So it's not just what's interesting about this case is that according to Norman, according to Live Golf and that 15 of the top 100 players in the current world ranking are going to apply for this. So it's not just Phil. So I don't think Phil gets singled out here unless there's something going with, a suspension or, all these things that are rumored but are never publicized. So I think Phil's case is more likely to just go the same way as the other 15 guys that are.
How do you think that is the tour likely to let them play? Like, how does that?
Well, they did it last time. Yes, this is different, but they did let them all off to go play the Saudi event earlier this year. So, but obviously this is the start of potentially a tour, a circuit of multiple events as they. Right. So I don't know. This is a little more of a crossroads type scenario because you let this one go, then the next, several Live Golf.
And I assume they have to tell them within a couple of weeks or something so they can prep and plan to travel. Okay.
That's
interesting.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Well, by next week, we'll probably have a lot more to talk about as far as that goes. And we'll have this tournament to talk about as well as the results from that. So that's going to conclude our preview for the Mexico Open. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be back at you again next week. Take care.